We're slightly different to some of the other co-financing organisations, but we actually target the extremely hard to help groups. So we take them offenders, identify the barriers that they've got to employment, put together an action plan to break down them barriers with the hope that they actually enter employment or are more able to access that mainstream provision.
There were some concerns when we were going through the procurement stages in that PPDG hadn't particularly worked with this particular cohort before. However, we've been absolutely amazed by what they've achieved, only a year into the first round contract.
What we try to do is make sure we're networking and communicating with all the key stakeholders to obviously support our delivery and working in partnership. Rather than going in and reinventing the wheel, we've looked at working in partnership and looking at what's already in place and adding value through the non-CFO contract.
Well, I think definitely working for per temps, I think we've come across with a fresh approach. Instead of employing academics or such, they've gone for real people who the clients can relate to, can build a rapport with. But yeah, it definitely seems to work because you get their respect, you get and they're honest with you from the outset, and they want to work with you.
Initially, when I came onto the contract, it was more about helping an individual rather than categorising somebody as an offender. Yes, we do work with offenders, but what you tend to find is if you take that out, and working as a coach on this contract actually makes you rethink any sort of preconceptions you had before coming on the course are completely gone out the window, and it's more about working with people who are really keen and motivated to get work, ultimately.
I mean, you perhaps go into one of the prisons and sit and talk to a group of guys, and the first thing they'll say is, who's going to employ me? Who would want me? I think for me it's the most challenging contract I've ever worked on, and I've worked on a lot, but it's the most rewarding to see that turnaround. We get to meet all the families as well. Absolutely. And bring the children in. And
I was on drugs, heavy drugs, and just going to prison as soon as I get out, not having no money, going back on the same road, back to prison, and that was for 15 years something. One day I realised I had kids, I needed some structure in my life. I'm in the process of finding work now and doing whatever courses I can. It's the first time I've ever had a CV. I'm 34 years old. I didn't even think I'd be able to have enough stuff to put on a CV, but.
Well, the probation put me to per temp. I'm now going to do learn direct because in the coach course you had to write stuff down and everything, and I realised that I haven't done that for so long that it's in tatters. Me writing, reading and all of that's just gone, so I've got myself on the learn direct course starting with English. I'm going to go on to maths, and that's through per temp basically. I've forgotten that you're sitting about and you think you're forgotten about, nobody gives a nobody really cares, but then you get onto a course like that or into per temps, and they do give you
someone's willing to give you a chance, aren't they? That's why.
Give you a chance, give you that boost that you need, tell you that remind you of the things that you've done, for sure. I've got a lot more confidence in myself. Just instead of sitting about doing nothing about things.
Feel like on the right track as well.
For something to happen, I'm out making it happen.
There was a client recently who signed him up very, very low morale, motivation levels. I've been working with him for, I would say, about 5.5 months now, but we've persevered, we've carried on going. This Monday, gone there, the 28th, he's started work for a Spanish restaurant, and he's working as a kitchen porter. He's over the moon now, and that's it, him changing his life. Well, at the end of the day, he's not going to go back inside, really, is he? Do you know what I mean? Because he's too knackered from grafting now.
We're hoping for more of the same, in that a lot of the lessons that they've learned in the North East per PPDG can actually switch into the West Midlands and carry on their great progress. I think the market is more difficult out there in terms of the economic situation, and what we're looking for is offenders to actually get into that labour market is becoming even more difficult. So if they can continue the same progress, that would be absolutely fantastic.